What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Let me log into my stupid computer because I was trying to do a cool lighting intro, but it didn't really work. It was too dim. Even with the login screen, it was too dim. But I tried there. That's to make up for the fact that this video is so late, and I'm sorry about that, guys. But because I had last week I finished my internship, and this week I didn't have it, which should be a reason I'd get this done earlier, if anything. But unfortunately, I just got off track, and I kind of was I didn't have that organizational schedule, so I just didn't do it, to be honest, and then I waited till Thursday to watch American Ninja Warrior, and then it's Friday night. Well, now it's 1 a.m., 1:41 a.m. Saturday morning. So now we're late. I was supposed to do this way before. Originally, it was supposed to be Tuesdays, but I've been doing Wednesdays and Thursdays and stuff. But yeah, we're late this week, and I'm late on obstacle of week 2. So I'm sorry, guys. I just got off track without the internship because I need my guidelines, or else I'm just a hot mess. So now we're paying the price for that. But I'm going to get back on track with these two in the next couple of days. And then next Friday, then when American Ninja Warrior airs on Monday, I'll do the review hopefully more timely. And then get the obstacle of the week on Friday the 8th, I believe. Yeah, Friday the 8th. And then we'll be back on track. So sorry about this week off schedule. But we're going to make up for it and get back on track. So yeah. But I finally watched American Ninja Warrior Season 17, Episode 9. Which is the final semifinals episode, and the last episode that's the format of just the course. I mean, just the single course before the racing starts next week, which is going to be even harder for me to film because I'm not looking forward to it. So I'm already worried about how long that'll take me to film. Because the more I don't like the idea, the longer it takes me to film these reviews. So that's unfortunate. But we'll get to that when we come to it next week. But for this week, the course was the third qualifying course as I expected, which is the quad steps, lunatic ledges, log runner, crank it up, V formation, warp wall, and then the back half is the salmon ladder, corkscrew again, and they changed the doorknob arch. They switched it out for the dungeon, which is an obstacle I like. Basically, it's one where you have to go with the pegs. You have to climb up these horizontal pegs, which at first are horizontal, but then you have to grab this bar, and then it will tip the whole board 90 degrees up. Well, it's already tilted a little bit, probably 60 or 70 degrees, but, then it'll be flat, and you have to go across the pegs in front of you. It's the same pegs you went up when they were horizontal, but now they're vertical, because you tip the board, so you have to go across them vertically. So you have kind of a multi-purpose use of the pegs, and you have to go kind of both ways on them. So I like that idea. I think it's a creative concept. Then you have to go from the vertical pegs to the glass door and rotate it around to jump off. So I like that obstacle. I think it's a good use of the space, and it's I think it's a good idea. I like it. I like the back half of the course this season overall. Like I said last week, I like the Cannonball Alley. I like the Doorknob Arch. I love the Invisible Ladder coming back. So yeah, I'm happy with the back half of this course. I wish we had new stuff, of course, but this season we don't have new stuff, so it's kind of irrelevant in a sense. Well, not irrelevant, but as far as returning stuff goes, I like what we have, so I'll take it. But yeah, I like that. And the Invisible Ladder, like I said, I love it, and I'm happy to have it. That's the final obstacle. It's still good. So now we're gonna get from the course to the competitors. And the first competitor was Spencer Johnson, who I remember from qualifying. His thing is a change course program, which is basically helping people to rehabilitate people that were in maybe jail, not just jail, but jail, or if they had any kind of other issues, if I believe that they said they're homeless or alcohol problems or anything that they need to get back on track, I guess, in a sense. It's stuff like that. And this time they gave some more background on how it developed, because they said that Spencer Johnson's dad got involved accidentally, well, not really accidentally, but got involved in a scheme, and well, I keep saying accidentally, it's a cushion, but he took some money, I believe is what they said, and then he got in trouble for it, and he's in jail for 6 months, and basically he learned from his mistakes and all that, and he said that he met some people, and people in jail that kind of changed his perspective, and he realized I guess it showed the need to help people turn their lives around in a sense. So I guess I wasn't completely watching this because I was talking to my grandma at the same time, but I believe this was basically saying that that's how they developed the program, by realizing that there's a need for it. So I appreciate that story. I think it's a good background. I liked it the first time I heard it, and now I like having the background. So I respect it. And my grandma loved this story. This is exact any kind of human interest story my grandma will love. So they had the right audience this week for that. But I like that story. It's good. Then then he ran the course, and he failed the dungeon. I didn't write too many notes on the course this week, unfortunately, the individual runs. But he failed the dungeon. I believe it was on the second part where the things were vertical. So he did the classic Zuri interview after the run, where they interview the family, and they have the kids and his wife come up. And I mean, I've watched the show a lot, to be fair, so I kind of know their tricks. But my grandma saw him and she was like, is that his kid and wife that they're talking to right now? I was like, I hope so, because otherwise it's just random people coming up to the interview. So that amused me. I think you have to be there. But yeah. But anyway, that was my extra editor's note on that. And then they had the second competitor today was Brandon Griffin, who was trained by the person who was like a ninja kid, but now I guess he's still young, but he was like a kid on the show. Now he's like older. He's like 20. And he got revenge on the feet formation from qualifying, which I believe he was on that he like made it to the platform, but he touched the water with his feet, if I remember correctly. Like he just missed it, and that was like a tough fail. So he made it through that, but unfortunately he failed early on the salmon ladder. The first jump he did, he has missed it. It's kind of rare to see a salmon ladder fail. Not I said salmon ladder fail these days, but it happens. And I guess he'd never been on in competition before, so it makes sense. But yeah, that's a tough way to go out. It's good to, in a way, it's good to see that people can still fail it, I guess. So yeah. But my grandma, because he made up the wall, she thought he was already in the clear. So she thought she thinks he should win the show because of that. So at least he has that going for him, despite the unfortunate fail. My grandma thinks he won it, so that's good. This drink is already almost gone because I was writing this whole note card and I drank most of it while I was writing it, and now I have nothing left. Or I have 20% left. And now I have even less. Okay, then they had Kenzie Hughes. I don't know, I never can say that last name. Even when I knew a teacher named that, I said it wrong with like Kenzie Hughes? I don't know. Hughes, however you say that one. But she's a flag football player and also a ninja competitor, and they did the comparison of like, the typical comparison of like, oh, you have to have good hand-eye coordination to do both of these, which I think is kind of like, there's something there, but they always try to connect it, and sometimes like that's kind of extra, or just like not really, it's kind of a far-fetched comparison, but you know, that's how ninja is. But she said that they said while she was running that she took time off ninja because she was like too tough on herself when she lost, which I get that part, because sometimes like, especially when I was younger, like I could not, like if I couldn't do the right number of pull-ups, if I did one pull-up less than I wanted, I would be like upset for days and days. So I get that mindset, and it's tough. So I'm glad basically it said that she got over time, she got more easy on herself, I guess, and her football playing also helped with that, I believe. So I'm glad for that, because that is like, it sounds silly, but it's debilitating because you don't really want to do anything because you're afraid to fail before you do it. So yeah, I get that feeling. But then unfortunately she did fail because she's trying to go to the second wheel of corkscrew and she couldn't get the height. And honestly, like when I was looking at it tonight, I realized more how much of a difference it is. It feels like you have to go up like several feet to get up to the top, to the higher one, which is weird because like I think of it like going outward laches, but upward laches are pretty tough, I feel like. So that was tough. But yeah, she just missed. It's not that she like fell off the wheel, she just couldn't grab it in the first place. Just a simple lache fail there. But still a good run. So yeah. Then they had Joe Morawski, who was fast through the whole course. He's like very fast. On the crank it up, he did like the backwards momentum, which most people do. But then he immediately went forwards with it, which is the way to do it if you're trying to go for time, which I guess people have that in mind because the racing is coming up, so they're all trying to go fast as possible for the best seating as possible in the future episodes. But yeah, that was very efficient. He was very fast, but then he made it to the invisible ladder and he slowed down, and he started doing these kind of like small, you know, there's a lot of different moves we've seen. Like some people do the kind of pull-up approach with the big moves. Other people do like the kipping, especially near the top, they'll do the kipping. He was doing like small moves throughout and kind of rocking, which can work, but in this case it did not, and he missed it by about 5 feet, which is very unfortunate. I really want to try the invisible ladder because I keep doing these whole representations in the car. I want to try it for real because, I don't know, I don't think I could do it, but I think I could go up like maybe 20 feet. That's my guess. Because you see how people hit the wall at like 25 feet, people hit the wall. I feel like I could do like 20 feet. And that's without anything before it. Because most people are doing stuff before it. But if I did it fresh, I feel like I could do 20 feet. Maybe the whole thing on a good day. If I do nothing before it. Because I think a lot of the upper body stuff like drains you in advance and then you can't do it. But I really want to try it. I think that'd be cool. I love the invisible ladder. Then they had Jason Barons. He on the dungeon, because he's so light, basically he's the one that's, I believe, 4'11", the shortest one to clear the course ever, I believe. I think that's the stat. But on the dungeon, he's so light that he wasn't able to like lock it into place. So it was still kind of like this, and he was trying to have to jump it. And he finally jumped it enough. He's aiming for this bar. He finally jumped it into place. So that was kind of like, that'd be unfortunate if he just couldn't lock it in, but he was able to with a lot of effort. It definitely would be a bit more of you're hanging for longer and having to work harder, but he did make it through the dungeon, and they made it through the course. And yeah, he was the first clear of the day. And my grandma thought he won, like, he got total victory of the whole show. And this is why the average viewer thinks that Casey Catanzaro won it 10 years ago. Because people think, like, oh, they cleared, they won the whole thing. But yeah, my grandma thought he was, like, the best run ever of 17 years on a show. So, I was very happy with this run. It was a very good run. But my grandma was very happy with this run, like, even more so than me. So, at least he is a fan now. But that was a very good run. That was actually a very solid clear. Even with the difficulties of being shorter and not being able to tip the board, he was still able to do it, so that's good. Then they did a fast forward where his brother cleared. I don't really talk about fast forwards because I'm already like going way over on these videos. But since his brother did it, I'll say that his brother also cleared. So at this point in the episode, there was 2 clears that were both the brothers. So that's good. Then they had Abby Clark. They did a mid-cut to V formation. One of those like kind of trying to cram 2 people in one segment things by doing this. So they cut her midway to V formation. She cleared that, but she failed corkscrew, unfortunately. So, yeah. Then they had Xavier Dantzler, and as I said before, when you have 2 runs in the same segment of semifinals, it's a bad sign, because it's hard to fit 2, like, significant runs in the same segment, because it's a 10 obstacle course, so, like, any kind of story plus a run, it takes up about a segment in itself. If you have a story and then 10 obstacles, that's basically a segment. So I had a bad feeling for Xavier, and I was right, because he went to log runner, and he failed, and he did like a flip over a 3rd log, and he failed. That was a tough fall, and I think that's the first time he's had like a really surprisingly fail like that on the show. Like, he's never like won it, obviously, but he's always done consistently, like, had consistently good performances. So it's unfortunate they failed here, but as I said before, those fails happen to everyone, and especially balance obstacles. It sucks, but it doesn't really like mean that you've even declined, because it's just so random. And the log run is a really tough one, so it's a shame, but I'm sure he'll be back stronger next year, and yeah. But now his student, the Brandon Griffin guy that he worked with, now his student beat him this season. That's tough. The student beats the master. But again, the log runner is one of those obstacles that's tough. And then they had Matt D'Amico, who was, speaking of students, he's the one that was a ninja coach, and he worked with the younger kids, and they showed the younger kids there cheering him on and stuff, and he cleared the course. And that was a good run. I feel like I didn't write much about that, because I feel like they showed a lot of it, but at the same time, I didn't write too many details this week, because I don't know. Because my phone was low on battery, so I was trying to type. I've texting myself, like the one where it says me, like the text message where it's like my phone number and it says me. I was trying to text myself the results, but my phone was on like 5% and I didn't have a charger next to me, so I was doing like very minimal notes. So that's my excuse for not having much this week. But he had a good run, he cleared. Sorry, Matt, for overpowering that part with just talking about my phone, but you had a good run if you're watching. Then they fast forward Jamie Ron. Why did I include a fast forward? Oh, because I noticed on the corkscrew, he had a very slow spin. Like, a lot of people, I see it, and I'm like, whoa, they went down so fast on the corkscrew. But he was, like, notably slow to the point where it was, like, very controlled looking. I don't know how he did it, if it's the way he grabbed it or just the luck of the draw or his weight. Well, he's taller, so it wouldn't be his weight. But something about it, he went down very slowly and steadily. It looked a lot better, like, in terms of, like, being able to, like, keep control. So I don't know what he did, but it worked. But unfortunately, he failed the vertical portion of the dungeon again, which I believe he failed in 2020, and now he's failed it in 2025. So that's unfortunate, but it happens. So yeah. But he did have a good corkscrew attempt, I guess. Then they had Ryan Stratus. They showed the Japanese backslap, which I appreciate. That's from Sasuke, and they're still showing it, so I'm a fan of that. But what's unfortunate here is that he failed the lunatic ledges. He tried to go one swing from the first to the second without any backswing, which not many people try. And, even the kind of crazy people that do all those moves, they don't always try it. But Ryan Stratus doesn't usually do all that, and he tried it, and it did not work, unfortunately. And he was close, but he missed, and he fell back into the water on the second obstacle. So that's a tough way to go out for Ryan. He's been there since season 1. He's been very long-term. But unfortunately, today he had a tough result. And I feel like those, kind of like, that type of move is not for him. I think it's dumb for anyone, honestly. If you're trying so hard to get on the show, I think it's like, not worth it. Like, obviously the speed saving is good for the racing format especially, and in the races I get trying to skip stuff, but for this it's not worth it. For me, I would just go one. I'd probably do more swings than that because I'd be so nervous, but definitely not the first swing because that's just risky for no reason. But that's unfortunate, but he failed. But I respect the attempt at doing something different there. But this is kind of the segment of the show where I call the unnecessary move segment, because there's a bunch of moves in this segment, in this next few segments, that were like very uncalled for. Like, I don't know why. And that's how you know that the next competitor is Bob Reese. And of course he did some unnecessary moves because he always does. And they reviewed his viral tricks from qualifying, which was the backflip on the Crank It Up, which, you know, my opinion on that was, you know, I thought it was impressive, but I also thought it was not the place to do it on the course, because it's, like I said before, like, you try so hard to get on the show that I think it's just dumb to do some kind of crazy thing on the course, and it's just not my thing. But it is impressive, you know, like, I take a little sip of Diet Coke there to clear my mind, but it is impressive. But, what the heck? My battery threw me off. But, you know, it's still very impressive anyway. But he ran the course today. He did the left two steps of the quad steps. He skipped the rightmost ones, the two on the right. And he just did the two-step on the quad steps, which you've seen before with the quintuple steps, where people do like the 1, 2, 3 on one side. But doing that on the quad steps and these smaller steps is pretty impressive. Again, it's kind of bordering on like unnecessarily risky, and I think it is unnecessarily risky. But you know he's gonna do it, and it's not the dumbest thing, as you're about to see. Then he did the lunatic ledges. I believe he did one swing like Ryan Stratis tried to do before him, but he did it successfully, so that's good. And then he did a backflip off the end of the second ledge. He did a backflip off it to the platform, which is crazy. I mean, again, it's impressive, but I just think like it's not worth it. Okay, but now we're onto the not worth it thing, and he got to the log runner. And he tried to do a flip onto the first log. He tried to do a flip onto this narrow cylinder that spins like insanely, and most people, or you know, like half the people failed just trying to do it the right way. So as you'd expect, I mean, I thought, you know, he has very good balance, very good recovery, but as you might expect, he failed there because he tried to do a crazy flip and he just failed to the second log. So I just feel like, I get maybe his goal is different, and maybe I'm just thinking like, oh, you have to get total victory, that's the only goal, and maybe his goal is to get like a good run, but also get some like publicity. But I just think it's not like the place to do it, and unfortunately, he failed the third obstacle now, so he's out. So he had some very good tricks this season, and it's cool. But I just feel like it's not worth it when he could just have a good run in Vegas, and you know, or in semifinals and then in finals. I don't know. That's just me, but I feel like maybe I'm being old school Sasuke here, but I feel like you just it's a waste to do that. But what do I know? But people thought it was cool, and I thought it was cool, even if it's dumb. So you know, maybe that's the point he wants to achieve. So either way, but unfortunately, Bob Reese is out now for the season. But then they had Johnny Brown. And he's another guy that does like viral videos, and he has apparently some flying squirrel videos. Not as good as my flying squirrel video. Check it out. But he does some flying squirrel videos. I might have a few more views than mine do. But I don't really know the context on that. But they seem like they're more of like a TikTok sketch. But then he did the same thing as Bob Reese, where he did like the two steps on one side of the quad steps. And you know how the runs are usually like very out of order. Like those show like, you know, the way they show them is very different to how they aired. But in this case, I do wonder, maybe like this one did air directly after Bob Reese and they showed these two in order. Or, you know, thereabouts, maybe like close together. Because it just felt like he did like kind of copy what Bob Reese did. In a way that makes sense. Like, I still wouldn't do it personally if I was on the quad steps. But I feel like he did kind of like take what Bob Reese did and kind of replicate it. So it's interesting. I feel like that just made me think like maybe those runs were close together. And maybe this season they are showing them a bit more close together. I don't know. But, yeah, I thought that was weird. Well, not weird, but I thought that was knowable. But then he had one swing on the lunatic ledges. Sheesh. Like I said, everyone, like 3 people in a row on this episode did like some crazy, like the one swing on the lunatic ledges, the quad step stuff. Like, I don't, suit yourself, guys. I could not do that. But then he did the log runner. He did a flip on the log runner, but it was more of just like a flip to get to the platform, not like a trick. So that I don't have a problem with that. I mean, you have to do it, obviously. Then unfortunately, he made it to the V formation, and he got to the last V, like, trying to do a sideways dismount to the platform, but he just kind of, like, he lost his grip. You could tell he was trying to swim to the end, but he just lost all his grip, and he fell onto like the side of the pool. And in both qualifying and finals, he had a similar fall where he like not only fell on the V formation, but fell kind of on the side of the pool and then into the water. So that's consistent in a weird way, and different parts of the obstacle, but still the same like outcome. So it's a shame, but at least he's consistent in his own unique way. I'm trying to read my handwriting there, but that's why I saw already. Okay, so yeah, that's unfortunate. He's out. In this segment, I noticed there's a lot of people in a row that failed in the first half of the course, because we had Ryan Stratus failed the Lunatic Ledges, Bob Reese, the Log Runner, and Johnny Brown, the view formation. So that's weird. There's probably some fast forwards in between, because I didn't write those down, but there probably were a couple fast forwards that did better. But it's weird to see somebody in a row that failed the first half. But I don't mind it, because we've seen so much, of this format at this point, because we've seen years and years, decades even of the show, so I don't mind having some different structure of it, but it was knowable that 3 people failed the first half in a row. Then we had Noah Muir, who's an electrician, and he got full clear, and that's all I wrote, but he had a good run. He was very solid on the course, I remember that much, and there was nothing like, no moments where it was like, oh, he's about to fall or anything like that, so he just had a good run and he cleared, so good for him. Then they had Lucas Reality, who works with the previous guy whose name is Matt D'Amico at the gym where he works with the kids, trains the kids. And they make him to the warped wall. And they said that in the past he's had trouble on the warped wall, which is kind of weird when you think about it, because that's such like a gimme these days, at least for the majority of like veterans. But that is true, he's had some trouble there before, but he made it up very easily. They kind of try to make it seem like, oh, he might struggle today, but by the time they said it, he was like already up it, so there wasn't really much drama there, and he did well, and he reached the invisible ladder, but unfortunately he couldn't get up the ladder and he fell. Like many before him, he just ran out of strength near the end, but he tried his best, or he had a good attempt. Then they had Ayu Herman. They showed that she did a gap year before. See, I say after because I'm so used to thinking of after college, but before college, she did a gap year. And she did some volunteer work, working with kids and stuff, and training them with ninja. So that's cool. I think she went some different countries and stuff, I believe. Again, I was kind of listening to this and doing other things at the same time, just with all the profiles of this episode. But that's a good story. I appreciate that. And they emphasized during her run that she was going like, oh, she's going a little bit slow. Not even that she's going slow, but they emphasize the importance of time and that she needs to get somewhere fast enough to move on. So then she failed the corkscrew, and we found out that she went too slow to move on, because like she could have moved on at corkscrew, but she had to go faster, like because the farthest the fastest. So that's unfortunate, and that's always, I'm sure, like tough for the competitors when they realize that they could have made it if they went faster. But that's part of the show. Part of the logistics is the farthest the fastest. So it's a shame, but yeah. But she was close, and I'm sure she'll be back in the future. But unfortunately, this season she's done. But she still had a good run. I believe that might be her first time on the back half of the course, because they said that this was her first like she's had one buzzer, which was on the semifinals racing from last year, like back when they had the semifinals race. And they haven't had this format of like the back half of the course since season 14, I believe. So it probably was her first time on the back half of the course. So that in itself is a good thing for her to get to. But unfortunately, she did not qualify from there. And they ended with Jay Lachey. And the profile picture is that he's a couple with Maggie Owen, who's another ninja kid. And that she asked him, or like messaged him out or whatever. She messaged him like, oh, do you want to hang out? So that's a good story, I guess. I feel like I'm on the ninja dating show, because I can't keep up with all these ninja relationships, or really want to. No offense to them, but I don't know. I'm not invested in the stories of the show that much, especially like the younger people. Like I care for them, but I don't keep track of all of it. I need to get like a scorecard at this point for that. But it's a cool story nonetheless, and he did well and he cleared the course, so I'm happy for him. And yeah, that's good. And that's the last run of semifinals, unfortunately. So it's sad. That might be my last Invisible Ladder sighting, because I like it, but good things must come to an end, I guess. And now we have to get to a less good thing, which is the racing next week, which I'm nervous about, but I'm cautiously optimistic that maybe it'll be better than I thought. Because like I said in my pre-season video this year. I did not mind the racing in stage 2 of season 16 as much as I thought. I didn't like it, but I didn't mind as much as I thought, so maybe I won't mind this too much. I still would definitely prefer just like a standard 4-stage course. That goes without saying. But I'm hoping maybe this will be good in its own right, and I'll enjoy it a little bit. At least enough to get through these reviews in a timely manner, because, you know, if I'm not looking forward to it, I'm going to have to delay it. Not have to delay it, but I'll be less motivated to make this video. And then I'll be out of line, and I'll have to do this late again, and it'll be a mess. So hopefully we'll get it done on time, because I was late enough this week as it is. How many more episodes this season again? I'm not gonna, in the future, you know, I enjoy watching the season, but in the future I'll probably try to watch it but not do reviews, because there's no need for these reviews, and I've said that in the past, and I thought I could make them more efficient this season, but it's still the same, just like, there's no need. No one asked for this. And like, there's some good reviews of Ninja Warrior on YouTube, but there's people that are better at it. As for me, it's just like, I'm not good. I'm just reading this, oh, this person made it here. So there's no real point for it. But that being said, if I start it, I'm going to finish it. So I'll at least do the season. But, it's going to be a long one. And especially when it's just like brackets with the same obstacles for weeks at a time, which I think the racing will be. It's going to be rough for me. But we're going to get through it. And until then, guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And until next time, I will see you for the race. Hopefully, I'll win the race to posting instead of being so late next time. But we'll see how that goes. But until next time, thank you guys, and peace out.